isn't it true that nicotine is addictive? Mr. Crosswaith?
Yes, nicotine is addictive.
Mr. Oberlander?
Nicotine is addictive.
Mr. Nivikoff?
Yes.
Mr. Blondet?
Yes.
Mr. Lofton?
Yes.
And isn't it true then that using the products each of your companies makes, which contain nicotine, could lead to nicotine addiction? Mr. Crosswaith?
Yes, nicotine is addictive.
And your products could lead to nicotine addiction, correct?
Yes, it could.
Mr. Oberlander?
Any product containing nicotine is addictive.
And your products that people use containing nicotine could cause people to become addicted, yes?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Nivikoff?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Blondet?
Yes.
Mr. Lofton?
Yes.
And nicotine can, do you agree with the medical studies that show that nicotine can have negative consequences for respiratory health and can cause an increase in blood pressure, heart rate, and lead to heart disease, and also could harm brain development in young people? Mr. Crosswaith?
As part of our PMTA, we will have all of our studies submitted to be reviewed.
So have you seen the studies that show that there are these issues that I just mentioned?
I'm not familiar with the one you're
You don't know.
referring to.
So do you maintain that nicotine causes no health consequences in people then?
No, nicotine is addictive,
And does it have health consequences?
it can cause harm.
Yes. Mr. Oberlander, did you hear my question about the studies? What's your view?
Yes, I did. I mean, our scientific team actually monitors all the literature regarding
So would you agree that nicotine could cause respiratory health issues, blood pressure, heart rate, and brain development issues?
As I said before, nicotine is addictive and tobacco products can cause harm.
Could they cause the harms I just talked about?
I'm not familiar with this.
You don't know.
study that-
Mr. Nivikoff, what about you?
I'm not in a position to corroborate nor
So
repudiate
you don't
this.
know, you don't know if it could cause those harms.
Nicotine can cause health issues. I'm
What
just not
health
in a-
issues do you
I'm
think?
just not in a position to corroborate.
What health issues do you think they could cause?
Nicotine can raise your blood pressure.
Okay.
It can cause headaches.
Okay, but you don't really know about any other things,
I'm not aware of the studies.
even
that
though you're the
referring to.
CEO of the company. Okay, Mr. Blondet?
Nicotine is addictive and as such can cause harm.
Okay, the harm, I find it fascinating. No one really wants to talk about what that harm is. The medical studies show that it can cause respiratory health problems, blood pressure, heart rate problems, and brain development problems in young people. Do you think it caused any of those harms?
I have no reason to doubt those studies, but I'm not aware of them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lofton?
Nicotine is addictive, and we put all the warning labels onto our products.
I understand that. Do you think it could cause the harms that I'm talking about?
We're going to leave that up to the FDA to decide through the PMTA process, the specifics.
So
of
you're
it.
not going to commit to that either. See, when you say nicotine is addictive, I don't think that a lot of young people understand what that means in terms of health consequences. Mr. Nivikoff, I was really moved by what you said about your grandmother and your grandfather. My mother died of lung cancer at age 54 from smoking, which she started doing when she was under 21. And I'm sure she knew it was addictive, but I don't think she had any idea. And I think people think that e-cigarettes, sure, they're addictive, but they're not going to cause the same harm as cigarettes. In fact, we don't really know. Now, I want to ask you another yes or no question. Maybe you'll answer it. Do you agree with the CDC that there's no completely safe tobacco product, including e-cigarettes, Mr. Crosswaith?
Yes, our products are not without
Mr. Oberlander?
No tobacco product is safe.
Including your e-cigarettes? Mr. Nivikoff?
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Mr. Blondet?
I agree.
And Mr. Lofton?
All tobacco products carry risk.
Okay, one last question. Do you all agree that there's a youth vaping epidemic in this country and that people under 21 should not be using e-cigarettes, including your products, Mr. Crosswaith?
I completely agree.
Mr. Oberlander?
Try to get one.
Mr. Nivikoff?
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Mr. Blondet?
Absolutely.
Mr. Lofton?
I agree.
What did you want to say?
One youth vaping is too many.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. And now I recognize Mr. Guthrie for 5 minutes.